So let's start the VCI because it will take a little bit of time. So I'm gonna go to this, I'll open the VCI which is already there, and I will say auto run. I'll start the auto run, I'll accept. So this one's supposed to be member of domain controller, and it's supposed to be 8 GB of RAM at least. We'll say install for the vCenter, and it will start checking the prerequisites for all of this. I will need to say next. I will accept the license terms, I'll say next. We cannot do anything here, basically. Embedded platform, you could choose something else, but for now we're gonna use the embedded platform. Now that's very important, guys. That's the name of your server. That's how you're gonna access it afterwards. So be sure you will access it. Now, by the way, let's finish what we started there and what I tell you that we need to do. Here we're gonna open the DNS server. That's the first thing we need to do. It's important. So we're gonna go to the DNS here, tools, and we're gonna go. That's on our domain controller, right? I'll do DNS, and on my DNS, what I'll do, click here. The first thing I need to allow on my forward zone, I have housenet, but in my reverse zone, I don't have one. So what I need to do is create a new zone, say next. It will be primary zone. You don't touch anything here, just do next, next, next. The network ID is 192.168.100, and it will reverse it for you. You do next, finish, and it's done. Now you go to the primary zone, and you see you have 3 computers here. You have the VCA, which is vCent, which is 210, and you have the DC. All of this is nice. What you need to do basically is just to do like this. You need to click update associated PTI record. So in the reverse zone, we just connected all of these guys to get there, right? So you need just to be sure all of these guys are there. So you need to do manually. Afterwards, everything will be done by itself. You just uncheck it, then you go and check it back. You need to be sure that all of these guys will be in your DNS record, so which means they will be accessible. We're doing it now because we created the PTR zone. Now afterwards, everything what you created will be there. So I need to refresh all of this, and I'm gonna have that. So that's in my domain name server. So let's go and test on the other machine. Let's open the we have it already in the DNS server. That's fine. So what we'll do now, we're just gonna click next. I need to choose a password. Well, I choose the same password as I'm accessing my my computers. I don't want to remember other passwords, so the ABC password I would say, but that's very important, you guys, to remember. Once again, this thing is very important. vcent housenet.local. It's very important you to remember this thing. That's the way. I could even do like this. New text document. I'll copy this thing. I'll do Control C, and I'll do Control V. Just to, if it doesn't work this way, what we would do, no problem, we're gonna just, we say vcent dot housenet dot local. Okay, and then we say that's the, once again we accessing vsphere.local administrator. We'll say next. Okay, it doesn't like the password, it's fine. We'll use something else. I'll use welcome one with capital W, and I'll put an exclamation point at the end. I'll say again, welcome one with capital W and exclamation point. So I'll put it here so you guys to see it. Welcome one and exclamation point. I'll save this one. I'll say next. This one there will be no problem. I'll use the local system account. I don't want to do anything anymore. Okay, that's fine. I could go and choose another account, but the Windows local system account, it's fine. That would be the one which I just showed you. Embedded database, that's the better thing. these are all the ports. Well, this is in case you're gonna use a firewall, you have a firewall, so these are the ports you need to be sure are supposed to be open if you're gonna do it from a different location. So these are the important, you could change these locations as well. For now, we're gonna just do the default. I don't want to join the VMware Customer Experience Improvement. For now, I'll say next, and this is, it shows me that's the system name, and that's how I'm gonna access it. Once again, that's important to remember, right? And we just did it. I'll say install, and now it will take, so here how it looks. The setup it completed. There are no errors. Obviously, we click on the launch vSphere web client, but actually we could use the browser itself. We could copy and put it. So let's try to use the default browser, or I could click use an application, or I could actually click finish on this, and then I will exit this thing. I'll close this one, and basically I'll go to the page which was basically there. Well, we don't need these pages. I need to access it from inside. So what I would do, if you remember, this is the address we need to go to. It is called vsphere.local. Actually, this is the address, vcent.housenet.local. I could come here, minimize this. I don't have this guy inside. Well, I'll say here. So we said vcent .housenet local. Now when you say launch the local client, right? So the next thing what you need to do is just to accept the license. Here it is. And now you need to use the credentials we set, right? You need to use administrator, and then we need to use the welcome one, right? So we say here administrator, and we'll say welcome one with. Now basically what you need to say is administrator on the vsphere.local, right? So you need to say here administrator at vsphere.local. Actually that's how we're gonna do it. I'll Control X this. I'll remove this once. And I'll say add. Okay. We say login. It's vSphere, not cSphere, right? vSphere.local. Okay. And if everything is fine, say yes on this, proceed to the local, we say continue, we'll open it on the full screen, and here how we're gonna see it. Now this is the way you will see all of your virtual machines, and what we will do here will be in this one, the VMware. Okay, that's installed. So basically that's how the vCenter looks like. Okay, now what we'll do next basically will be to create I could go and I would create here a new data center. I just need to decrease a little bit here. You see the license is not good, but that's fine. That's what we have. I could say new data center. I'm gonna call this data center. We are in class 305. I'm gonna call it 305. And then in this one, I'll click on it and I'll say add host. And I could add it by name. I could add it by IP address. It's better by IP address. Actually, it's working much easier. So we say 172 here. then it will be 172.18.0.2. I'll say next. The username, you know, is root. You know the password at ISI. 3 and 3 dots. I'll say next. So we did the routing on our real computer. So that's the computer which I'm accessing remotely. So I added the routing as per when you do add roles and features. I stopped the other two networks which didn't do it, and afterwards I installed the remote access and actually direct access and routing inside. So basically the role has been installed. Now what we need to do is to come to the tools. We need to do this because otherwise we cannot access our vcenter. So basically what I need to do here now is to go and to find out the routing. Okay, the routing and remote access. That's the one. We need to start the service, obviously. Just do it a little bit bigger. So we'll configure and enable routing, and so we say next here. So we need to do custom configuration here. If you remember, we will say LAN routing. Say finish, and we wait the service now to start. We don't need to do NAT because the both addresses are obviously private. So we need to see here green. Here it is. And the next thing what I'll do here, here's the static route. I would say new static route. And the interface is, well, I need to see which interface is which though. So I need to open here, open network and sharing center. So say change adapter settings. And let's see which interface is which. As you see, this one I stopped, they're not in use. Let's see Ethernet, what it is. It's 192.168. Okay. So we need to allow between these interfaces we to have an access to this one. So see destination will be 172 in this case. Well, I think I have access to this one. Well, I say here 172. So choose Ethernet 2, which is the one which has 192.168 access, and I'm gonna say the destination actually will be then 172. No, the destination will be 192. The other one is 172. So you need to find out the one which is 172. This is the one. So we said this one, Ethernet 2, is the one which has 172.18. So Ethernet 2, we need to translate, well, not translate, we need to be able to go and ping and to access the 192 network. That's the problem. So 192 network to go there. So we'll say 168, 100 and 0. And the networking mask, we know 255, 255, 255, 0. And the gateway will be 192, 68, 101. I will say OK on this. And we need to check it now. Actually, we need to be able now to access from this one. We need to be able to access from the real computer 192.168 100, and one which we have is 110. Okay, so we access the server here. It's a good. This is a good sign. Let me see which port we need to actually get there. Give me just a sec. So I did a static route also on the vCenter server. So to have static routes on both directions. So I see that the Ethernet adapter which I'm using is ETH0, Ethernet 0. So do new static route here. and destination this time will be 172.18.0.0. Sorry, 0. The network mask will be 255.0.0, and the gateway will be 172.18.0.1. I'll say OK, and I'll try it now. Let's see. Well, I'm pinging it here. It's supposed to change, but as I could see, nothing will happening at the moment. So once again, what we did, guys, I'm recording this. What we did, we changed it in our hosts. Actually, we changed the IP addresses. We needed to change the IP addresses because apparently we were using the wrong ones. I showed it to you, the wrong ones. And what I did on all our virtual hosts, I changed the IP addresses to 172.18.20, and that's my vcenter. And on this one, actually I changed it to 30. That's my domain controller. So if I do ipconfig, I see how I did it. And afterwards, because we needed to access it from our computer, which we're accessing it remotely, right? And as you see, it's looking for a name resolution, even though you don't see it here. But what we did next, we opened the notepad as a right-click on the notepad and open as an administrator. Once we open it as an administrator, we accessed the folder of local C, Windows System 32 driver side C, and we open all the files, if you remember. So once we open all the files, not only the text file, we put it here, the IP address of our vcenter, which is 172, and then we put it the name as it is written there, because otherwise this computer is not part of the domain, which the other two are, and there is no other way you to resolve this by name. So we put it in the host file of the real computer. Okay, that's what we did. And afterwards we just put it in our real computer, or our remote computer in that case. We put it the IP address, and I could access it even by name, right? If I do it, so let's but by name, actually I'll show it to you after this. It will access it the way we created here. I showed it to you already how to create the data center, and now we're adding to the data center first host, which will be 172.18.0.2. Okay, I will put the username and the password, so it will be root, and here will be the @ISI, and I'll say next. And this time there will be no problem for this, because apparently we have connectivity. Here it is. It has evaluation center, but it's good for the end to the end of the center. Lockdown mode supposed to be disabled, so use the default ones. We will put it into the data center 305 as our classroom, and we'll click finish, and we're gonna see it added here. Okay. The next one we'll need to do is and you see the two hosts here, which one of them is on, right? And now we're gonna put the other one. So I'm gonna say again add a host, and I'll put the 172.18.0. Oops, I'm sorry. 172.18.0.3. I'll say next. I'll put the same username and password because they're the same, obviously. 2, 3 and 3 dots. I'll say next again. I'll accept again the security alert. That's once again, it shows that the certificate, SSH certificates are self-done. Username or password, well, most probably I misplaced the password, so ISI 123. Yeah, this time is okay. We accept all of this as it's done. We say finish, and we're gonna see our other server here. Now it says it's disconnected, which is not true. Here it is. So we have the test computer here. So now we see everything in one location. We could do much more stuff here. But once again, at least in the beginning, we will still